Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, my name is Lindsay and I am the creator behind mycreativedays.com, here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, all the places. And today I'm going to share a new project. I just found a new piece at a thrift store, and when I immediately saw it, I kind of saw it totally different than the way it was meant to be used. And so I'm going to give it a little bit of a makeover. And so I thought I'd kind of share this process with you because it's an easy way to kind of bleach or lighten up a wood piece of furniture, or this is kind of like a wall hanging thing that is easy, super easy, and you can kind of customize it to the color you want. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so the purpose of this video, you can kind of see, this is kind of like a wall hanging, like I said, and it's got some little drawers inside of it. And when I got it, it was kind of a dark, orangey oak color. Not my favorite, not that there was anything wrong with it, but I wanted to kind of see, it was a DIY project waiting to happen. So I stripped this, and I will have a link to my blog post and how I do all that inside the show notes here inside the description. But what I wanted to do, so when I got it to this color, it's great the way it is, but I wanted to lighten it a little bit, but not bleach it. A lot of the colors in our home are kind of on the, what do I want to say, warmer side, kind of the beige creams colors, not really the whites and grays. So with the bleaching, I didn't want it to be too white, if that makes sense. So I wanted to get, but I wanted to lighten it a little bit. And so what I am doing is, I am doing kind of a watery paint technique, for lack of a better term. I am basically taking one of my favorite paint colors. It's kind of a creamy, if you can see here, it's kind of a creamy color. And I basically, now this, I was using it the other day and it's kind of too not watered down enough. What I want to do is I want to put a little bit of paint in there, and you just need a little bit of paint. You're going to be working in sections, but you kind of want it watered down to kind of like a stain consistency. So the more watery, the better. Because let me open this quick. Because if you don't, whoa. So I'll kind of show you how I do this. If it's not a watery consistency and it's more like paint, you're not going to have as much freedom to move it around. And it'll go on thicker than what you're looking for when you're doing this kind of technique. So I opened the can of paint, and I'm just using what's in the lid because I don't want too much paint. So I'm just going to put a little bit down here. And then again, I'm just adding water to that to make it not a thin paint. You really kind of want it, you know how stain is like water almost, the consistency. It's liquid. It's not thick by any means. And that's what I'm looking for here. And then you also need an old rag. That's just going to be helpful. So when I want to wipe all this excess off, because again, you want to make sure you don't have a ton of the paint on there, the product on there. You want as little as possible. You can always build the color. It's a lot harder to take it off. Now, if you got too much on here, you didn't like the color, you can always sand it back down like I did here. But I'm trying to make it so I don't have to go through that extra step. And so a good way to do something like this when you're trying a new technique, or you're trying to mix, a color, or you're trying to thin down a paint or anything like that, try it in an area maybe behind the piece, or, in an area that's not really going to be seen, for you to just kind of try it out and see if you've got the right consistency or the right color, depending on what it is. I love to mix paint colors, and so I do that often. And so I'm gonna try and move this camera here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I just basically, I'm putting that on, and then what I want to do is I want to wipe it off. Now again, can you see that? Oh, good. It looks a lot, it looks like there's a lot more paint through this camera than there really is here in person. So I'm just going to go with the grain of the wood, and I'm just going to pull it across, trying to get in those crannies. And then you don't want it to sit very long. You want to wipe it off as quickly as you can. So this is why you're just gonna work in small areas at a time. Hang on one second. And so sometimes I will spray my rag with water if I just feel like I need to take a little bit of that pigment off. If I feel like it's got too light in some areas. And what this is gonna do, it's going to lighten up this wood. Again, it looks so much dark, so much whiter here in the camera than it is really in person. It's gonna lighten up that wood, but like I said, I didn't want to bleach it. I have processes and techniques on how to do that on my website as well. But this one, I wanted it to be more of a creamy color, not white or gray. And so this is the easiest way to get that kind of bleached look, but yet make it more custom to what the colors are in our house, if that makes sense. This is more creamy. The bleach technique, which I absolutely love it. We can, I'll leave I will leave a link to that in the description of this video as well. It is such an easy technique, and it works so well. Like it's amazing. You're going to be hearing our dog Hilly barking in the background because somebody is, I'm sorry you guys, somebody is mowing right outside. So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just getting a little bit of paint on. The one thing with this too, I have found, you want to go in the direction of the wood or the piece. You know, if you're going this way, it is paint. It is not, you know, so you're gonna see which way you do it because you're doing it so light, if that makes sense. You're gonna see the direction of where you're putting it on, of how you're putting it on. So you definitely stay in the direction of the way the wood is naturally. And like I said, when you're first doing this, you can definitely, you know, build it. So you can definitely, I'm just going to kind of show you the difference. You can definitely build it. So start really, really super light. And then you can, and I want to show you this goes really quick. And then, you know, you can put on a second layer kind of after you wipe it away. Just going to get in that kind of corner. Just wipe that off first before I start. So you will have to kind of I just like to work in smaller batches because I just, so you're really not going to use a ton of paint, which is always nice. You can see I want this to really be, like water. And so another good way to test this out is, I hope you guys can see this. So when I do this, I want to see how it runs down there like water. It's not, you know, with a paint you would do that and then it would just stay up here. You know what I mean? Like the thickness of paint. You want this the thickness of water, and you want to get as much off of there as possible before you see, like right there, that might have been a little too thick. I didn't get enough off. So I want to work fast. And for me, I want it to, you know, in our home, I love pieces that have tons of character and charm. So I'm never looking for perfection, which actually makes these projects a little less stressful. So you can still see, like I said, here in the screen, it looks a lot lighter than in real person, but you can still see the wood grain. You can still see that that is wood underneath there, but that it's just a little bit lighter and it's creamy. It's more of a creamy color. So here, I just want to kind of show you this over here. So you see how this wood is coming this way. So when I apply this side, I'm going to want to do it this way, not this way. Just to kind of make it, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. I just did not take as much off with that last application, which is okay. Yes, this is going to work perfect in our home, just with the color. Okay, let me move this over here. Whoops. Okay. And just like with anything, as soon as you start doing this or more of these projects, it just becomes easier and easier. You kind of get in the flow of doing this, you know, after your first couple of applications. So this piece, you can't really tell here, but this piece, again, let me see if I can move the camera to kind of show you my thought process. So this piece, this is supposed to be the top. And so you can see then there's kind of this shelf with the little drawers. I like it the way it is here. So I like it for that to be the top and this to be the bottom. And I'm hoping that's how it's going to work okay. We will see. We'll get the makeover done first, but that's how I pictured it when I saw it. And the back of this, oh my goodness. The wood on the back of this is what I saw first when I went to check this out. It's like all old wood. Sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, the back of furniture or, you know, pieces like this will make me, will draw me to them, you know, even more than the front, just with the old wood, the old backing, and across the thrift store, that's what I saw first. So I ran right over there to see what it was. I was not happy that it didn't look the same, but I still knew there was tons of potential. So I had to bring it home and see. Like I said, I first kind of stripped it down, and then it kind of took me a minute. I wanted to figure out how we could use it. I thought it might work. We kind of gave our bathroom a makeover, and I thought it might work as a shelf above the toilet in our bathroom, but it's way too big for that. So that is not going to work. So you can see I kind of got the wrong direction there as I was trying to get that corner. So I'm just going to work there now, and I'm going to pull it down this way to kind of cover up. The one good thing about this too is you can kind of cover up any, because it is paint, you can kind of cover up any, what happened there? kind of any little mistakes, or, you know, go thicker in areas if you're trying to cover up something. And I kind of like it thicker in the corners because that's where it naturally would be. So kind of not wiping as hard in the corners. I wish these cameras would. It's like barely covered. Well, maybe that kind of shows it. It's barely covered here in real life, but I feel like the camera's showing it a lot darker than what I'm putting on here. So I'm just gonna wipe that off first because I don't like that. And then I'm gonna work here. So this is just like, you could do this with any color paint too. You know, if maybe you kind of want like a green kind of hue, or kind of like a green stain, or a blue, or just kind of like that kind of hint of the color, but not like a full blue paint. This is the way to do it. Water down some of your favorite colors, so you'll get it on there. It'll kind of have the essence of that color, but yet not be fully painted. So like, yeah, definitely you could customize this to be any color. Just want to kind of darken that a little bit. And like I said, so you'll get this all done and then step back and look at it. Do you need to, you know, add some in some areas? Do you need to put another layer on? Do you want it a little more darker? Do you not like it, you know, the way it's going? But it's kind of foolproof. You definitely, this right here is the main, what you have to get right. You need to make sure that this is thin enough, and you just want this to be, you know, it's well, now I'm losing. I've used it a lot of it, but you want it to be runny like water. Just because if it's not, it's gonna go on like paint, and for you to maneuver it or like to lighten it up, definitely, you know, use your rag. You can spray some water on your rag, and see if you can kind of get that color down a little bit. But otherwise, you'll have to sand it to kind of get it down to the original wood again. So just make sure that your mixture here is more watery than thick, and then have fun. So I will definitely share an after photo of this once I get it done and hung, so you guys can see it. But I just wanted to share this process here with you because it's something that I've used over the years. You can customize it to any color, and it kind of gives you that. For this, it's lightening up the wood in a creamy way, not like a bleached white color. So it's just kind of giving me that look I want with this, one of my favorite paint colors. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you know when all the new videos are coming up. Share my video if you found this helpful. And I'm gonna finish this and hopefully get it done here today.